I don't know if anybody else is feeling this, but it's just getting crazier and crazier, and I have to sit back and laugh sometimes because it's just getting nuts out there. It really is. Everything is falling apart. The things that are being said are untrue, and there's a lot of truths out there too, okay? Many, many truths. But majority of people still aren't seeing it. They just are not seeing it. And honestly, I don't even know if they will, honestly, to tell you the truth. I know it's been a long time since I've been on here, but since I really started doing a lot of the videos before, and I was doing what I felt led to do, I went back to doing a lot more studying, and I had many times that I was going to put up something in particular, put up something that was given to me and everything, and I had problems uploading it. I had problems, my video stuff disappearing, hiccups in my videos, all kinds of stuff. Then, of course, yet again, all hell was breaking loose. If it wasn't my house where things were happening that was causing distractions and stuff, it was my kids' households that, you name it, it was happening. Then, honestly, tell you the truth, when the pandemic hit, I kind of retreated into myself a lot. I still read scripture. I still studied. I still listened to many of the people that I had listened to before. I just mostly became more of a student than anything. I didn't feel that it was I figured it would do maybe not as much good if I was there and I wasn't at 100%. I've had a lot of health issues since everything, and I didn't talk and associate with a lot of people, so I was alone in a lot of things. When I'd see something that seemed important, I passed it on, usually in an email. You guys all know who I sent it to, because that was all that I felt that I could do at the time. I was having a hard time holding myself together and keeping my prayers and strength up with him. I felt like I was drowning. I wasn't doing great. I kept praying about things that were going on and things that were in dire need of change, and just continued to read the Word and try to get what I needed. If there was something that God needed in me changed, and a lot of things changed, and my outlook and perspective changed on a lot of things. I did have my free times, though, that I don't know if most people know, but I do game. I do play video games. That was my outlet to, instead of watching TV shows and stuff, because most of the stuff was, just honestly crap. that was on the TV and everything anymore, and we couldn't really afford TV anyway, so the only way I was really watching anything, if I watched a movie or something like that, was on YouTube or a rented video or something like that. That's how I did. Or maybe if we happened to go out to the movies, which was very rare because it got so expensive. And then whenever the lockdowns happened, I wasn't able to do that anyway. So, I had to take a little extra care of myself and ask God to help me every single day through everything, because it was so hard to even function. And because of the pandemic and the way it was, and I was shut off from a lot of my only sources of contact, I retreated more into myself and became more isolated, which I didn't like, because it reminded me of how it was before I came to Christ. Because I was a lot of a loner, and I was off to myself. I didn't really go to parties and things like that like most the teenagers did and everything. When I did go, I got teased, so I just shut it out. And I delved into my homework and my studies and read a book or played a video game or something else, drew, colored, did puzzles, did many things with my family. Through the pandemic, it did uncover a lot of things that, well, I can't say that we didn't really know they were there. It's just they were less obvious and prevalent. I don't know if anybody else had this issue. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's at least a few out there that have had this, that when you're in close quarters with people and you can't really get out and go anywhere, many people, especially if you're not all the same in your faith walk, if you have it, or if they're just totally of the world and they don't believe basically in anything, unless it's what's on the TV or movie or something. They're just, it's like the lights are on but nobody's home. I don't know if anybody else had that in their family, which I do kind of. So there were a lot of things that were revealed during the pandemic that I didn't like how people were and how they acted and things like that. So if it got I don't know what you would say, like a little too rowdy or obnoxious, I come off into the other room and sat down and locked the door and just put on a sermon or put on some gospel music or something. I just did something, or played. Honestly, probably the best thing, and it's kind of like a puzzle, is Minecraft, because it's building and stuff like that. Well, I guess you wouldn't say really it's like a puzzle. It's like Legos or Lincoln Logs, or I don't know. It's building. It's mostly building and stuff like that. I'm sure most people know what Minecraft is, so that, or the puzzle type ones, or where you do the ones that have the little gems and things like that you would, line up so many of them, and those kind of games, that kind of stuff. Those are the type of games, those mostly. I did play some that were interactive ones where you would talk to other people and everything when you're playing. So I did have some people I had to talk to, and they were there, which was strange because before the pandemic, most people, they were talking mostly about this or that they were upset about or whatever. And a lot of times the politics, really. But most of the time after the pandemic, when the people would talk, they would talk more about what was going on with them, what was going on with their family and stuff, and how things were, and the game. But more the game than anything else. It's like they detached and mainly concentrated just on the game and talking about that, because that was their only escape, really. And it did become the only escape for most people. Sad to say, but it really did. And I had that where that was my little time alone too. When you run out of the puzzles or the coloring stuff or something like that, that's something else to keep yourself busy. You'd be surprised what you try to come up with to do when there's really nothing to do and you can't go anywhere. It's like having a constant rainy day where you have to stay inside. It's kind of like that, where you do a little bit of something and everything, but then the rain clears and boom, you get to go outside. Well, with the pandemic, it wasn't like that. You couldn't really do that. Or you dreaded going to the store because, I'm sorry, but those masks are a joke. You can't breathe worth crap in them. And it's a joke. It doesn't really help that much. It does more harm than good. So, I mean, if you're going to have something that 100% protects you, it sure isn't no dang cloth mask. Or paper mask. Because you're still going to get crap through that. And if you do happen to cough or whatever, you got all them, instead of you being able to something and then get rid of it or whatever, okay, what are you going to do? You're going to cough when you have the mask on, and then you need to change the mask because you don't want the germs up against your face? Think about that. It's insane. But anyways, enough about the stupid masks. This made so many problems for people. I know I'm not the only one that got off track and went more to doing what needed to be worked on in us instead of putting so many things out there. I had really gotten into that and different things that the Lord wanted me to do, and I kept getting obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. And I just, with all the stuff that was going on, it was hard to fight against it and just do it. Or then when the things came in, censorship and all kinds of stuff, you're like, okay, well, what am I gonna do? Where am I gonna post this? Where am I gonna put it? So, yeah, you kind of get discouraged and disheartened of where exactly that you're gonna put it. So, I don't know. I didn't have a lot of inspiration to get out more than what I had already put out already. It was probably a better time in a way to do it, but the things that I had done and put out before I started being affected, I do believe, by the enemy, and doubting myself and thinking, is it worth doing this? Is it even doing any good? And I kind of talked myself out of it. And I really shouldn't have, but I did. And that's something the Lord had to deal with me about. I made it many excuses when I didn't feel good, or I just didn't feel up to doing it. I didn't feel inspired. I let those things get in the way, and I shouldn't have. I'm going to try better to get out the things that were there that I needed to put out before, if they're still relevant at the time, which the anything that might have been scriptural discussing or something would be, but if it's something in particular that concerning what was excuse me, I hiccup, that was going on at that particular time, that might not necessarily be relevant. I'll have to look over what I have, because I do have some things to put out and maybe record and put up. But one of the biggest things besides the procrastination part was also that for a while my phone that I had was giving me so many problems. So that was probably part of the reason why it wouldn't upload when it was supposed to. It wouldn't record like it was supposed to and everything. I still don't think that I have the greatest phone, but it's a better phone and has more storage and everything now than I used to. So maybe this will work a little bit better, I hope. So anyways, I know I'm kind of like rattling on here, but really wanted to put out there so people knew kind of what was going on with me, and hopefully I'll be able to get back into doing things too. Oh, and I wanted to say also that because of the being kind of shut in and not being able to do what I needed to do and stuff, and not going to the doctor and all that and everything, I did kind of, I think, kind of not so much like, I wouldn't say got lazy, it just like I said, didn't feel inspired and everything. And I do believe that it affected my health more, it affected my weight more, it affected my state of mind more. There were multiple times a day I literally had to listen to prayer scripture or something, and inspirational stuff to just completely chase away the things that were hitting me, and just would not let go. It was, honestly, it was worse than I had ever had before, except for before I came to Christ, and the things that were hitting me, very similar to when the things happened, the struggles I was having when with the kid's dad, and the things that were hitting us, and the women that were coming at their dad, and the tension that it caused in our marriage. And I wasn't getting the support that I needed, even from the church at the time. And I was getting mixed messages, and it was very similar to those kind of attacks, but yet different, because these were attacks that were not like when you have a certain what would you say, like when you've gotten past certain things in your life that could be like some people would think a weakness, but it's not really a weakness. Maybe it's like you're more trusting of people and everything, and then you have the tendency of the bad people sometimes to come in and take advantage of that trust, or that you trust them and then they do something bad or underhanded or sneaky and hide it from you, and then you find out later on and it's like devastating. It's almost like somebody hitting you or kicking you with that what happened, and it knocks you down. And that's kind of what this did. It was just a constant, it was a constant bombardment that did not let up. It didn't let up from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed. It was constant the entire time. It hit me a lot of times, no matter how much I prayed, it still would hit me a little bit. Okay? Not as much. Okay? But it still did hit me even when I went to sleep. Like I didn't cover all of what I should have covered with or something. I don't know. Maybe it was, I don't know, maybe I was lacking a little bit in something, protection that I was praying, you know. I don't know. I don't know what it was. Or maybe it could have been me, myself, that was defeating it somehow. I don't know. I know that it's a lot different and it's a lot better than it used to be. But I still do have that. Occasionally will happen. Usually it's after, because usually I'm fine. Not an issue. But somebody that is in a circle of influence with my kids or my fiance or something that they've been around and they don't realize it, and then they come back and they come around me, and I don't know, it's weird. It's like, okay, everything's fine, everything's quiet. I'll give you an example, okay? Everything's quiet and everything's fine all day long, okay? Then a certain person will come home, and this is how I think that something has piggybacked, okay? I don't know if anybody understands what I'm talking about, piggybacking. But like a spirit has piggybacked somehow to see, oh, let's see what trouble we can stir up, okay? And will come in, and you don't really notice it because it's not like, it's not possessing the person. It's just there, like, observing, I guess you could say, until it sees if there's some little spot that it can mess with. You know, let's see who we can mess with. Because it not necessarily thinks it can mess with that person. But if you've got everything all fortified and protected against, usually it's fine. But when I started getting that where things were hitting me and I was getting distracted, I wasn't doing the daily intensive prayer I had been doing before that was protecting us, that had our covering there. Okay, so the maintenance on the wall or whatever you want to say, the maintenance part was not kept up. So there were little cracks and little blemishes and things like that started. And I'm sure this has happened to everybody, okay? I know I'm not the only one. So if anybody says this has never happened to them, they are lying to themselves. They are lying if they say it has never happened, because everybody has had this happen to them. Even if it's only once in their entire lifetime, which I believe it honestly is a lot more than just once. But everybody's had their moments where their defenses were down. Okay? Like you get a big bombardment attack and everything, and they hammer at the stuff and everything, and it gets weakened. Okay? But instead of you going in doing what you can to fortify it again, okay, for the next attack, okay, you let it go and say, oh, you know, this and that, and you get distracted and all that and everything. So then when that attack comes in, it hits an already weakened spot that you haven't fortified again. Okay? And this is what was occurring, because I had that constant where I was fortifying everything, and then things happen, and the thing with the pandemic, and it tried to grip me too, the fear and all that and everything. It tried to grip everyone. I saw everyone around me that it was hitting. Okay? So it was there. Okay? And it was very strong and very intense. But it will be, and it does get removed and taken out and taken away. Okay? But you have to do the things to fortify yourself. Okay? So that those angels and Jesus and the Word and everything else can fortify you against all of that. Okay? You're not going to go out there with no armor on. Okay? Or make sure from that battle there's not a little crack in it, or a tink in it, or a dent in it, or whatever. If you do, then you have to repair it, and you go back out on the battlefield again. Okay? This is where it wasn't occurring with me as much. I had been so long doing the different things and going and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting, and instead of getting my armor repaired and fortified again, I lacked on that. And I didn't ask for that. I've already talked to him about this and asked to be forgiven for lacking on that. And everyone needs to do that where they were lacking. Don't be so prideful that you don't ask. And you don't ask for forgiveness for this. This was my shortcoming. This was not God's shortcoming. This was my shortcoming. This is where I messed up. And it caused things to come in and try to take hold to bring me down completely. And many times it felt like it was going to. But you don't give up. You don't give up. You don't just lay down and give up and let the enemy have its day. You don't do that. As they say, the thing, don't you give an inch and they'll take a mile. It holds true. You just need just a little teeny tiny spot that is weak. And they'll try to come in and they'll try to take everything. And you can't let that happen. You can't let that happen. You can't lack in your prayers. You can't lack in your fortifications ever. Especially now. Because these are multiple attacks that are coming at people. And they're harsh. They're intense. And they are overwhelming. Just one of those can take you down. That's how intense they are now. Because we're so close. We're close to going home. We're so close to going home. But think of all the people that's going to be here because they didn't listen. And that's what gets me. That's what hurts. Because we have been trying and trying and trying. And I know it's not our fault because they're not listening. But it doesn't keep it from hurting. And the reason why I think that it hurts is because it hurts God. Because they're not listening. Because of Him being there and indwelling in us, we feel that separation that they've caused by not listening, by not accepting Him. We feel that. And it hurts. I know it's probably not as intense as what he feels because it's only maybe a portion, because maybe we couldn't handle it all. If it feels like that, and that's only a little bit of it, I don't want to feel the weight of all of that. I don't think we can handle it. And I think that's why it's that way. Because he's not going to get it. Because it would be overwhelming. Hey, you have the weight of the world? Yeah. We can't feel the weight of the world. We couldn't do it. God can do it because he's God. He doesn't want to. He wants everyone to come to him. But he also knows they won't. They won't listen, some of them. But all we can do is keep trying and giving what he gives us to them, and hope and pray that as many people that can hear and accept him before the Great Tribulation starts. Because it's close. It's really close. Because once we're gone, it's going to be a different time for them. They'll be able to come to God, but they'll have to give up their life. There are many people now, especially in many of the other countries, that have lost their life for belief in God. Many of them have. And I know that's harsh. But you think how bad that is for them now? And we're not even in the Great Tribulation yet. When we leave in rapture, the people that do come to him are probably the ones that are going to realize that they made a mistake. Those are going to be the teachers then. Those are going to be the ones that help. Those are going to be the ones that show the others. Those, or that it may be ones that maybe, they might have heard it but didn't really know and didn't understand. This is just a guess. I don't know. Nobody really knows for sure, because that's going to be different then. Okay? At the very beginning, it's not going to be like instantaneous, and there's not going to be no word for them to get. Okay? There will still be Bibles and all that in the Great Tribulation at the very beginning, before everything really hits. Okay? There will still be a chance to get that word. Okay? These may be people that heard, but they didn't really, I don't understand, or maybe read it and thought they didn't understand, but they never really came to him. I don't know. These may be people that they had a friend that was a Christian and believed and had come to the Lord, and that friend was talking to them and trying to get them to understand and see, but they, whatever, that's just fictitious or whatever, and didn't believe, but they had kind of heard it, but it just didn't make any sense to them, or it didn't get in there like it needed to and everything, because they had the scales and those hadn't been removed. So they didn't see, they didn't understand. But then when they look at all the things that maybe that friend or that family member or something had said to them, and all these millions and millions and millions of people disappear. But they have to come up with some quick explanation, but it still doesn't make sense. And what's in the Bible saying about, and what was to be happening, was they see coming right there, had been happening all along, but they didn't see it, and more things were starting to unfold, and they're in, the reality of it, they're going to wake up. They're going to wake up, and they're going to be very upset and feel very lost because they're still here, because they didn't listen. But once they do ask God for that and believe, believe in it, and they will be fine. They will be saved, and they won't have that fear of dying. See, most people think they're going to be afraid or this, that, and everything. And no, these people will not fold. They will be stronger than we are. The ones that have to go through that and die for what they believe. And I really do not believe that once they finally hear and they believe and they have accepted, okay, I don't believe they will ever turn. I believe they will die for their faith, period. Any that looks as if they, or whatever, they'll be the ones like now that don't really believe in everything. They just act like maybe they do or something like that. And then they might do and take the mark and everything. But it's possible they could still lose their life too, because they may be associated with those that don't give it up and believe in the Lord and have accepted Him and will die for their faith. And they were part of that group, but say changed their mind. I don't think that they were. I don't think they were completely convinced, and I don't think that they actually came to Him. They just wanted some answers, and, I don't know. I have no idea. None of us know exactly, except for what it says. That's it. Okay? But there's still parts in there that are not completely detailed of how it's going to be. So that's where the revelation of the Lord is going to let us know. I just know that it's really, really soon, and it's going to start at any time. And I pray all those that needed to be hearing, understanding, and accepting, do so. And the moment they do, I think that's when God's going to pull us out of here. When that very last person that is going to be, I think that's when it's going to happen. I mean, that's just a personal opinion. Maybe that's not exactly it, but I believe that's what it is. When that very last person that is supposed to do before, because God knows all what's going to happen. You think He doesn't know if it's that last person and then boom, He takes us out of here? That split second? I mean, I don't know, but I thought I'd get on here and kind of give a little bit of an update of what's been going on with me, what I've been dealing with, and say hi to everybody. And hopefully I can get back to what I need to do. I'm just so tired, just so weary. I really am. Been for so many years and everything, and many people that I've talked to, many people that have listened and came to Christ, but so many that still don't see that I really, really wish they would. Want to be I want to be okay in this. And I want to do the things that I need to do. And not have the things weigh me down so much and distract. If you feel led to pray for me to get past that obstacle, please do. I love you guys. And I'm so thankful for all of you that have been there, that I've still been able to watch. I've still been able to listen to. And maybe I don't agree with everything 100% every single person has said come out of their mouth. But I love you all, and we are brothers and sisters. And sometimes I don't feel as if I belong in a way. But that's probably because we're not really meant to feel like we belong. And all this thing, and all the things that have been happening, the thing with the pandemic and the lockdowns and all that, yeah, it's a bad thing, but yet it was a good thing too. God turned it for a good thing. Look at all the people that actually did come to him during this, and still are. So, that's something that evil devised, planned to happen. God already knew about it though. And he allowed it to be put in motion. God brought it to glory though. It was worked for his purpose, not the enemy, although they might think so. God allowed it. It's a time of testing. A time of sifting. And a time of weighing men's hearts. And a time of gathering. Those last few before he takes us home. It really is. You got to look at the things that are occurring, not just all negative. I did that for many, many years. Doesn't do any good. I have to catch myself every now and then because it still kind of tries to come back in. It does. Usually on the wings or tail or whatever of someone else reminding me, which I know it's the enemy behind that's reminding me of it. But I just shut it out anymore. Before, it used to crumple me. Not anymore. I know it's the enemy. When I hear it and I see it, immediately. Before I was like, well, and it might be. No, it's a definite. I know 100% now. And thank God my fiance is getting that too. I have seen so much growth in him. What I saw before I ever got with him, that light, what he was there to do, his purpose, I saw in him before he ever saw it. God showed it to me. And I told him, and he thought I was, whatever, and just kind of rolled his eyes and everything. But you know what? I don't care. God showed me. God showed me that. And I can see it unfolding in front of my eyes. I see that strength. He asks me sometimes, why this or why that or whatever, and I'm not really that way, and I don't get along with people and this. I don't really talk to people and this and that and everything. I said, yeah, you do. What you are saying now, that wasn't you. And he just looks at me real strange. I said, the real you is what you've got right now, what's coming out. That's the real you. That's what God purposed you for. That's what God intended. What was before was not what God intended. That's what the world intended. That's what the enemy intended. To keep you placed in a little box and doing whatever you were told. That's not what God has for you. He's starting to understand it. He's starting to see it, which is a great thing. It's a great thing. When they see, when they realize it, it's a great thing. Oh, wow. I just noticed how long it's been. I need to go ahead and sign this off and get this uploaded. And hopefully, anybody has any questions or whatever like that, you can always put a little comment down in the comments and everything, and I'll get back. Or anybody that in particular that I have been emailing that and you need to get a hold of me, you can always email me also. Some of you have my email. Yeah, but I am very grateful for all of you. Very, very grateful for all of you that have all been there. I thought whenever the pandemic hit that everybody was going to stop and not put anything out or not. Because, I was going to church all the time and plus watching the programs and stuff too. And then my church couldn't, they couldn't open the doors. It couldn't do, and for a long time until, because I was talking about this before the pandemic hit. I was talking about them to maybe a YouTube live or Facebook live or something, so they'd have some kind of little thing going on. And they were really resistant against it because they didn't want to do anything. They thought, oh, the church thing will be fine. We don't need to get on the internet. We don't need it. And I said, you'll reach so many more people. So much more people. But I also kind of knew something would probably come where that was going to be one of the only outlets. Because of the different things that were occurring, it looked like that was what was going to end up happening. Well, I didn't think that the doors would be closed that long. I figured it was something else, And then plus you'd reach people that maybe couldn't get to church or something. So that was a lot of the reasoning why. And they were very hesitant of it. And I said, well, just think about it and everything, because there'll come a time you probably will need it. And they looked at me real strange when I said that. And then the pandemic hit. And that was the only way to get the message out. And it was a little bumpy at first and everything, but they kind of got the gist of how to do it and still got the message out there and everything, which was really good because people were still able to do it. And most of my church has been devastated with what has happened, and I don't know if all the members are able to come back if it ever does completely open. Still not completely open yet, but supposedly they're supposed to be able to do it soon, but I haven't seen it happen yet. So, and even if it does, we can't get there in my car anyways right now, so yeah. I would have to still do checking the online and watching the different things and that. Well, I do have a way to text my pastor and his wife. So, yeah, that's still an outlet there. So, yeah. And believe me, a lot through this, I've hit him up with a lot of texts about praying for and different stuff and yeah. kind of blew up her phone in a way of with little messages here and there when I needed the support and extra prayer and everything. But she's like family. I love them. And if I had a way to have other contact with others with, you know, texting or something for a message or whatever, then I would do that too. But I don't know. But I'm gonna go ahead and close this out, and hope to have something else for you guys pretty soon. So love you guys, and God bless.